A very good morning to all my dear students. Welcome to the web classes of English Standard 9. So, our second chapter is running The Sound of Music Part 1. We have finished up to 7th paragraph. Now we are taking para 8, 9 and 10 today. Look into your book. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audiences. In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award, says master percussionist James Blades. God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic. I have just got to work, often harder than classical musicians. But the rewards are enormous. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. Anne Richlin of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says she is a shining inspiration for deaf children. They see that there is nowhere that they cannot go. Evelyn Glennie has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. Yes, my dear students, look at the meaning of these three paragraphs. Not surprisingly means there was no surprise. Evelyn delights her audiences. Evelyn makes her audience, makes her listeners happy with her music composition. In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. About Evelyn, says master percussionist James Blades. James Blades has said something about Evelyn that God may have taken her hearing, God may have taken her power of hearing, her sense of hearing, but God has given her back something extraordinary. So students, what can be more than just hearing? Yes, there is something that can be more in comparison to just hearing. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. She could feel more deeply than any one of us, any beats of music, any notes of music. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. This is the beauty of the music. If one feels it from the heart, that person can express the music more beautifully in comparison to the one who just composes the beats. If you want to be a good composer, you have to feel the beats, the music, the sensations by heart. Evelyn was very much efficient in doing so. Evelyn admits that she is something of a workaholic. She had a great spirit of working. All the time she wanted to get herself busy in composing music. I have just got to work. I just try to do work every time, often harder than classical musicians. Dear students, would like to tell you that classical music is considered to be a very difficult one to compose. And Evelyn stated that she put harder efforts than the classical musicians. Evelyn Glennie was a percussionist, but the rewards are enormous. She admitted that moment that yes, she put harder efforts, but in return of those harder efforts, what she gets in form of rewards are also bigger or also big. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. Means she also did the noble jobs by giving her music performances in free in prisons and in hospitals. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. She never makes them await. Another person, a person from Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children named N. Richlin says about Evelyn that she is a shining inspiration, a strong inspiration, a remarkable inspiration for deaf children. They see that those deaf children notice that there is nowhere they cannot go. If Evelyn, after being deaf, Evelyn is able to reach to the highest peak of the music world, deaf children takes inspiration from this thing, and they also think the same way that they can also go anywhere in this world wherever they wishes to go, whatever they wishes to achieve. Further, Evelyn says that Evelyn Glennie has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. Means the persons who are double in age, whatever they achieve in their life, Evelyn already achieved more than those people. Means in the half of her age, she has achieved twice of her age. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra, so the credit goes to Evelyn to bring the percussion musical instruments to the front of the orchestra that are normally placed at the back, because the singers or the other musicians are granted to take the position on the front of the stage. But because of Evelyn, percussion instruments could get the front position and demonstrated and showed it to the world that it can be very moving. Means music composed with the help of percussion instruments can also move one's heart, can also make you emotional. So this was the power of music Evelyn could create. She also inspired the ones who were handicapped. People who look to her and say, if she can do it. When handicapped persons look at Evelyn, they think or they say that if Evelyn can do it, they can also do. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. Whether the people are normal or the handicapped, it didn't matter that time. And Evelyn inspired and pleased millions of the audience, millions of the people in her audience. So that was the charm of her music. So my dear students, this is the finishing of the chapter. Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. I would like to give you a summary of the lesson before we leave it. Evelyn Glennie, who was waiting at the station, looked younger than her 17 years. Actually, she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. She was going to the Royal Academy of Music. Here goes the story in flashback. When she was of just 8 years, her mother noticed some trouble with her hearing because she didn't react when her name was announced. Some years passed away this way. when she managed to hide her problem from everyone. And then a day came when her problem revealed before everyone. By the time she got 11 of studies, her marks started declining, and her headmistress requested her parents to consult a specialist regarding her problem. And the time they consulted a specialist, the things got unfold, and it was confirmed that her nerves of hearing were weakening day by day. So was becoming completely deaf. Consequently, her parents were suggested to admit her in a school for deaf by the specialist. Everything turned black for Evelyn with this statement. But she was not the sort of girl getting defeated by such troubles or disability. She decided firmly to lead a normal life. She would chase learning music with all possible efforts of hers. Then, after incidentally one day, she saw a girl playing xylophone. This thing raised her instinct of playing that instrument. But all her teachers discouraged her, especially for learning or playing music, because of her deafness, except the one who proved himself a real teacher indeed by giving at least a chance to listen to Evelyn. Evelyn, who was passionate for learning music. Evelyn, in whose eyes the teacher spotted the required potential. And this teacher was her music teacher, her tabla teacher, named Ron Forbes. The role of teacher in a student's life is revealed very beautifully by Ron Forbes. He approached her and performed an experience on her. He brought two drums and played on them with two different notes. One was the higher beat, while the other was of lower one. He asked Evelyn not to put efforts on listening, but try to sense or feel it in some other way. Soon Evelyn realized that she felt some vibrations of the higher notes in upper part of her body, that is the waist up portion, and the lower beats from the lower part of her body, means the waist down portion. With continuous practice, she realized that with different notes or beats, a sensation or vibration is felt in different parts of her body. Thus, she started feeling music more deeply than any of us. By the age of 16, she toured the UK with orchestra band and then moved to solo performances. She gave an audition for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. Throughout her 3-year course over there, she won most of the top awards, and that was really the remarkable achievement by her. She became the multi-percussionist. During a discussion or interview, we can say, she revealed some more facts about herself. People present over there found that in that 2-hour discussion, she didn't miss even a single word and responded well. She told that bushy beards create a little trouble, as it is not just lip reading but also the facial expressions that matter, especially the eyes. Eyes of the speaker help in understanding the speech. And the reason of her flawless, mistakeless speech was that she could listen till 11 of her age. Even then, her knowledge about French and Japanese was a point of surprise. Further, she said that as far as music is concerned, it is felt by different parts of her body. Like sticks of xylophone give sensation in her fingers while playing on. Evelyn says that if ever she gets a wooden platform to perform her, she removed her shoes, then vibrations are felt through her bare feet. She won a Soloist Award of the Year from Royal Philharmonic Society in 1991. Once James Blades said that Evelyn, if ever God takes something from us, He blessed us with something better. So God has taken her hearing but blessed her with the power of feeling music more deeply than any else. She described herself as workaholic. She tells that she always tries to do as much work as possible for her. She gives concerts at different places. Apart from regular ones, she gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals also. She always gives preference to the young age musicians. Once Anne Richlin of the Beethoven Fund said that Evelyn is a great inspiration for the handicapped and the deaf. She has also set an example for everyone in the society by fighting with her disability. As they see, when they see Evelyn, they find that if a disabled person can win over her disability and fulfill the aim of her life, then why can't we? So with this statement, students, I want you to go through the text once again completely. Tomorrow we will discuss about the textual questions. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself.